For those people that are unaware, I do have a contract to right here rescue Wafflebird Kerbin in orbit about the sun. I also have to return Wafflebird's scrap, so this is all designed to kind of hopefully do that. And Wafflebird, for people that are new, is... oh, I gotta get it orbiting on the sun, and we should see... oh, maybe I need to... is it this guy? There he is. There's Wafflebird's scrap in this crazy... I'm just... no, the orbit's not inclined. It's just inclined relative to Moha. Ooh, that panicked me for just a second. I did not factor that in. So I've been building this, honestly, rather ridiculous craft to try and do it, and... it's over-engineered, but under Delta V'd, and I was having some trouble launching it, so I ended up launching it unfueled. And in the previous episode, what I did is I built a fuel barge, and I started putting in liquid fuel in here. And between the two streams, what I did is I took the fuel that was sort of spread out all over the place. There's lots of little tanks, and I took all the liquid fuel and filled up all these tanks in these upper stages. So I won't have to fiddle around with those anymore. And I took all the liquid fuel and oxidizer out of this stage, and almost a good chunk of the liquid fuel out of this stage. And that's when I began to realize that I have a little bit of a problem, because I budgeted about 15.5 kilometers per second of Delta V for this mission, with the idea that I would go straight, do a transfer straight to here, capture, rendezvous, grab the scrap, and then blow back straight to Kerbin, trying to do this in the most time-efficient way, at least in terms of game time, that is. But what I forgot in the design of all of this, that 15 kilometers per second includes these stages down here, and these stages don't have enough liquid fuel. They need to be filled up, and my fuel barge does not have enough liquid fuel to completely fill this up. And on top of all that, I am very tight for funds. I only have enough money to launch one more fuel barge. So here's what we're gonna do. I kind of have two things. One thing is just to sort of let this go for a little bit, do some other contracts, because I do have a lot of other contracts here. They're all over here. Raise up some funds and really fill this thing up, or choose a different way to get to that orbit. You see, I was planning on doing a direct transfer straight to here. That's what I budgeted for. But if I use Eve here, let's actually take the distracting... why is this still here? Okay, never mind. If I took Eve as a bit of a helper, you know, as the title in the thumbnail implied, get a little bit of help from my friend here to give me a little bit of a gravity boost to slow myself down a little bit further, I can bring my orbit down closer to Wafflebird's orbit. Now, one pass of Eve won't be enough to do it. I might have to do multiple passes of Eve in order to get my thing to come down. Or what I alternately might just do is do a burn at Eve to bring it down, and still use the Oberth effect and Eve's gravity to help me bring it down. Which way I'll do it depends entirely upon how much Delta V this thing will have, and I honestly don't know how much Delta V this thing will have until we get whatever fuel we can get into it. So that is going to be the plan, to launch my last fuel barge, get it up here. Now, the problem with doing all these passes of Eve is that they are going to take game time, and that's probably why I didn't initially design it to do that. I just didn't want to get into all of that kind of finagling in interplanetary space. So that's why I decided to go with the direct route. But I've spent so much time fighting with this over the last couple of streams, I don't think I've saved myself any real time in trying to save game time. So I do have contracts. I got them all listed here besides the Wafflebird contract, and the next one's set to expire in 5 years, 389 days. So what I did is I set an alarm for 10 days shy of that to remind me if I start getting too much into fiddling around in interplanetary space, to kind of let it go, come back and finish off some of these contracts. we'll see how it goes. That's pretty much the plan. So right now, this thing's not ready to go. It needs fuel. Now, I did figure out that to fill up this stage and match up the oxidizer, all you have to do is subtract these two numbers. I need about another 15,460 units of liquid fuel. So let's go see how much fuel I do have in that fuel barge and see if we can actually fill that thing up. So back to the Space Center we go. All right, so let's warp this to sunrise because I don't want to do a night launch. And we'll get that fuel barge, which is already built. And let's see, fuel barge, where is it here? What do I call it? Oh, we got monster fuel barge, that's what I call it. So, let's see, the whole thing is that. And if I don't include that, it's all this is the liquid fuel part that's meant to be delivered up there. And that adds up, according to Kerbal Engineer down here, 13,985. That's not quite enough, but you know what? Like I said, I'm kind of, rather than put these back, let's just load a new one. So it won't quite be enough liquid fuel, but I'm just going to say screw it. We're going to bring up what we can. Again, I only have 243,000 Kerbal left, and this thing costs 172 and change, so yeah, there we go. So, this thing flew last episode, so it should, because we're out of money. This is the best we're going to be able to do. Okay, let's get rid of the contracts window. Let's get rid of alarm clock. Those are all just things that are just distracting me. Oh, that's the wrong alarm clock button. That's the stock alarm clock button. Get that alarm clock button. There we go. And we will get this and set that as a target. And oh, look at that. It's already just coming up overhead. That's nice and convenient. So we'll give it a little bit more there and that and throttle up. And oh, how much funds does the rescue end up giving you back? I don't want to look. I really don't. Okay, one and go. Yeah, that's something I should look. Let's look. How much funds do I get from the contract? Well, 359,370 plus, you know, these ones for specific objectives. I actually think that will more than pay for it. So there's that. A lot of the expense actually, here I should pitch over. Pay attention to what I'm doing here. Lock that onto prograde. A lot of the money went into upgrading the vehicle assembly building. So that's a cost that will be, you know, spread out over multiple missions. We are way to the north. I don't like that. Up, north. By up, I mean south. Up on the Navball. Going up very steeply. Whatever. Get this to settle in on 90 degrees. It should be pitched over for... I'm just a little worried if I get too aggressive that I'll end up getting this thing to flip. Oh. Lost the boosters. It's a little steep. Reduce throttle. It'll all work out in the end. And for those people that are new to this series entirely, this is my Beautified Stock live stream. The idea is to play a stock game. All the parts are stock. All the gameplay is stock. I do have like things like, you know, this Contracts Plus window, you know, to make things a little bit easier in terms of the GUI goes. But the actual gameplay is all stock. And, of course, I've added in a little battery of beautification mods to make the game look prettier, but everything I do here really can be done in a stock game if you're playing a stock game. Okay, whoa, we are coming into an orbit here. Just gone to orbital mode. A little more throttle. Trying to keep, again, that time to apoapsis relatively constant. Oh, now we are on a heading of 90 degrees, so that's encouraging. Very quiet motors there. And while this makes its ascent, actually, I do have a bit of an announcement. I've been mentioning it on and off that I am working on an RP1 series. This will not be a live stream. These will be edited studio videos. And I am ready to announce the start of that series. The first episode will drop on Saturday of this week. I don't have in front of me a calendar, so I'm not sure what that date actually is. But the idea is that it'll be this Saturday for the first episode, and then subsequent episodes every 2 weeks after that. That is going to be the plan. I think I've got comfortable enough that I can make that announcement, and I am very excited. Those people that are patrons and YouTube members have already seen the first couple of episodes, so they have some idea of what is coming up. And the rest of you will be able to see it starting Saturday. So I'm excited about that. I'm having a lot of fun. All right, we're in space. Still got a lot of work to do to get in orbit because that ascent was so steep. And this thing is here. Let's more throttle. There we go. Pitching up just a little bit. I still have a negative 500 kilometers on the periapsis. That's a lot. Let's lock this to prograde. For full throttle. I'm watching that time to apoapsis. I don't want that to get to 0. It's actually ticking down very slowly, so that's encouraging. If it starts to go up, I just reduce throttle. There we go. And originally, my original plan for the stream for this week was actually to sort of put Wafflebird aside and get into doing some of those other contracts that I was showing you and raising the cash and doing this properly. And it was... Boy, I did a much better ascent last time because I had that thing still with me. And it was a YouTube comment that started mentioning about... actually, the YouTube comment mentioned Jewel as a booster, but Eve, I think, is the better choice. Sorry, I'm just going to get this. There we go. Eve, I do think, is the better choice. So, we will, what was I going to say? So that's what really got me thinking. So I said, you know what? That's probably going to be more fun to do the whole assists around Eve and orbital shenanigans rather than to just more fuel barges and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping... So thank you to the person that left that comment for me. It got me out of the train of thought that I was originally in and thinking a little bit more freshly, a little bit more clearly. Boy, we're going to have to pop ahead in orbit here. Let's see this. Why would I have to pop ahead? I think I gotta go ahead another orbit. How am I this far off? Wow. Okay, another orbit. Oh, because I went up so steeply, I got up into orbit way faster than I thought I'm used to doing. That's why my timing on this is so bad. All right, getting close here. Oh, I saw 0.2. 0.2 kilometers right there. Zero. We'll go with that. All right. So, but unfortunately, that burn's not coming up for another hour and 19 minutes. Let's put it on here. Put it on there. That's what I want. Okay, so what do we got? Hour 19. This thing, well, let's see what happens. I think I probably say that a little bit too much, to be honest, but see what happens. A little bit going around, lock that onto here. I'm also going to reduce the throttle on this to make the burn a little longer. I did put an extra set of reaction wheels on this thing, so there's 2 of these large reaction wheels at the front because it was very much a pain to kind of lug about. Okay, and again, just about there. We'll go to about half throttle because it's not much of a burn. Oh. Got the wrong numbers here. Did I overdo it? Nope, that's good. Usually I have my rendezvous data. 54 meters closest approach right there. But can I get it in with a little more RCS? 34 meters. Nice. Okay. Happy with that. Okay, well, again, we'll reorient this. We're going to be there in just 10 minutes. We are quiet today. I'm seeing a comment that might be out of context. I hope it doesn't. If that's me, I'm sorry. Alright. I just want to get this done. I want to get that thing going off in the direction it needs to go. Okay, we're about 2 minutes away. Just towards retrograde. Should be seeing a waypoint. There it is. 4.9 kilometers away. Can I actually close this distance a little more? Probably not, like, really. Yeah, that's making it worse. Let's just keep it locked on the retrograde vector and... I mean, 36 meters here. We'll wait till a little bit closer. And then we'll start reducing our velocity. Relative velocity, it's about 35 meters per second. So it won't take much to zero this out. And what I like to do in these situations, give myself enough throttle to keep this time to target about the same. And then, so it's not going down, and then just kind of see what I can do to kind of close the distance even further. My most common comment in my YouTube, or one of my most common comments I get on my tutorial videos, is people struggling with rendezvous. And I think keeping an eye on this time to intersect is really very important. And once you start seeing it as getting a little bit high, you just stop, let this time go down. Maybe I'll let it go down to about 30 to 40 seconds, something in that range. Then knock off a bit more velocity. And just don't let the time actually go down too close to zero, or else you might be blowing right in. But we're getting very close here, so might be just, you know, and just sort of take your time. It doesn't take too much here. Let's lock this on retrograde. We're just about there. Let's open up our shield and get this velocity down to under a meter per second. There we go. We'll control from here. And can I get the docking port? Look at that. There it is. Set that as... Okay, we're going to have to aim it or spin this around at our target. Looks like our docking port's already kind of pointing at us, so that's convenient. Yeah. I think sometimes people just come in too fast. I really think that is part of what people do. Is they I've seen other people in tutorial videos saying, you know, come in real close and then just slam on that throttle, and you know, and it's like, I think that honestly is harder than just chillax. Come in slow. There's no rush. Okay. I'm just going to use RCS here. Pushing that prograde vector towards the target icon. Ideally, maybe even a little bit past the target icon, and that will get us, now we're moving in the right direction. The little red icon you see here, people that have seen any of these series, I do a lot of docking, know that this is coming from the Navball docking alignment indicator, one of the mods I did install, to which I think you put that your bird icon on that, and you now have the docking ports lined up. So I find that very, very useful. Makes docking much more pleasurable experience. Just going to time warp getting closer here. You know, I am coming in kind of quick. 0.9 meters per second. Let's do that. Well, that actually makes it faster if I do go this way. Oh, that makes it fat. What am I doing here? Okay, this way. Yeah, I got to keep the prograde icon on the target. I think we're coming sideways really fast. Oh, whoa, whoa, really fast. I'm coming in hot. We're going past it. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Okay. Okay, came in a little too quick there. Let's aim the camera at the front so I can get a better view of what's going on. Okay, so we backed up a little. This way, this way. Don't hit the solar panel. Be good. Again, putting the prograde icon on there and coming in quite a bit slower. I thought most of that speed was a lateral speed, but it turned out that most of that speed was a forward speed. And we just came in way too fast, and I wasn't able to. Don't do the same thing. Same thing. I think I'm not used to this thing being so heavy. Chasing it, chasing it. There it is. It's a little awkward. Okay, we're there anyway. Alright, so there's that. So I just need this tank. We're going to put in as much fuel as we can. So this should be a lot less frustrating than having all the way. For people that were at the end of the stream last week, I had all these stupid little windows open. This is much, much better. Okay, that's that tank. And that tank. And we'll do what we can out of this tank. Oh, that went really fast. I do want a little bit of fuel to deorbit this tug. Okay, that should be good. And there's now too much oxidizer here, as you can see. So I'll just get rid of some of this oxidizer. These two bars should obviously be balanced, and that's oxidizer that will never get used. So we'll end up. Okay, let's open up this tank and start taking out oxidizer. That's just extra mass that we have. That would obviously not serving any purpose. That's what I'm trying to get at. But I don't know how much oxidizer I'll be able to shove in here. Okay, that's that. Stop. But might as well get rid of what I can. Oh, we got more liquid fuel here. We can get rid of this. Out. Was much, but. And more space for oxidizer. So, taking the oxidizer out. Have I missed much, says technical support. No, I brought up an identical fuel barge to the one you saw at the end of last stream. And I've docked it with our Wafflebird 1. And we are in the process of refueling. I'm transferring resources. And all I want to make sure of right now is that there is... Okay, there's a teeny amount of liquid fuel here to be able to deorbit this thing. There's more. Found more. Found more. Out, 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 out. Ooh, now I can actually take out some oxidize. Okay, okay. Getting a little bit of wobbly happening. I'm going to do that time warp freeze thing. Just want to make sure there's no liquid fuel hiding in here. No. Okay, so I can actually steal some of this oxidizer, because now I notice my liquid fuel is higher than my oxidizer. So, out oxidizer. And out oxidizer. Of course, I'm just eyeballing these bars. That looks pretty close. We'll go with that. Okay. One last look. One last look for resources. How about monopropellant? Where are monopropellant storage? Out monopropellant. Okay. Wasn't much need for monopropellant in there. Again, one more look. Looking for high amounts of liquid fuel, because this thing's about to be deorbited. Okay, that is it. Okay. So, undock. Oh. Back away. So there's just a teeny amount of liquid fuel, 125 meters per second left. That should be enough to deorbit. We'll rotate this to the retrograde vector. And let's start thinking about getting our way to Wafflebird. Oh, of course, we're pointing right at our own craft, aren't we, here? Yeah, no, it's good. Okay, a little bit of throttle. Okay, periapsis is now negative, so that will crash somewhere. Back to this. Okay, so this... According to this, I have 14,357 meters per second of delta V. I'm pretty sure I've gone over the staging here multiple times. I'm pretty sure I'm okay. I think that should be enough. Like with a little tiny boost from Eve, I think that could be enough. Now, where is Eve? I've not even looked to see where Eve actually is relation to us. Ideally, Eve should be around here-ish somewhere relative to Kerbin. It's kind of over there, so we're going to have to wait a little while, but that's okay. Let's see what the maneuver tool, the stock, I can find which one that is. Which is the maneuver tool? Is it this? No, that's the Delta V one. That guy, yeah. Let's see what it gives. Sometimes this works well, and sometimes it does not. It's seeing a maneuver in year 5, I think. Well, maybe that's not bad. What's that? That's just in 298 days. That's 1,100. Or sorry, I can't say numbers today. Why can't I say numbers today? 1,000 and about 12 meters per second. There's still 1,846 meters per second just in this big thing. I'm feeling okay. Okay. That's all right. And that's coming up in 298 days. That's good. Remember, I got about 5 years to do this before the next contract expires. I'm just sort of looking, making sure. I'm going to F5 before I get into time warping. Well, do I want to time warp from here? Probably not. Well, we'll see. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's take a look at our Eve encounter. Is it really going to be that way? It's not letting me focus on Eve. Do I need to close this for some reason? Okay, I can focus on Duna. I should be able to focus on Eve. That is very weird. Yeah, that's just wanting. I want to. Why won't it let me focus? Okay, I'll do it this way. Sun, Moho, Eve. There we go. And I'm going to open up the settings because I want to see what my trajectory is doing after I leave Eve. So to see that, you go into your settings and you look for that patch, conic patch limit. We're going to pump that up to its maximum of 6. Apply that and accept and resume. And now I can see there's my... Well, now I lost my even counter entirely. Oh, wait. Set this as a target. That's weird. It's being annoying. It's being annoying. Why are you being annoying? Okay, we're going to select the maneuver. Might have to do some tweaking. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with tweaking. There it is. So, now let's focus our view on it. So you can see here... You know what? I think maybe the best plan is just to do the burn right now. Yeah. And then we'll do a correction and we'll tweak this encounter. Because it's being... yeah. I think that's the best plan. Because we want to go by and get our orbit to go lower. So, again, F5. Let's see what happens if I... just time warp from here. I'll keep some control on this. That's going to take a while. Alright, I should have... Cover your screens. Oh, that's something too. The, Oh, the Sentinel contract just finished. Remember the contract to detect 5 asteroids endangering Kerbin? That was a while ago. But that just did what it needed to do, so there we go. Say hi, thank you for time warping. Asteroids is something I would like to get into in a future episode. In fact, can I do this from here? One of my contracts here, this is done. Here, I should slow down the time warp if I'm going to do this. One of my contracts to put a base around Minmus, an orbital station around Minmus. If I open up the details, it says build the facility into a previously undisturbed Class E asteroid. Now, previously undisturbed, does that mean I have to... I'm not 100% sure what they mean. Does that mean I have to put the station on the asteroid and then bring the asteroid to Minmus? Because it does say definitely have this thing in orbit of Minmus. Or can I orbit Minmus with the asteroid and then bring the station up? I don't know. That's something for the future. Alright. Time warping. Maybe I should have gone to the tracking station for this, but 160 days to go. Is it supposed to tumble like that? Yeah, it's not really tumbling. It's actually maintaining its orientation around Kerbin. It's maintaining its orbital... I can't say words. It's maintaining its orientation relative to the stars. So in other words, in space, it's maintaining its orientation. It's just we're following Kerbin, so that gives it the illusion it's spinning, but it's not. Alright, we're going to slow this down as we get close. Okay, we're still a few days away. I'm just going to check to make sure we still got an encounter. We still got, yeah, everything is still good that way. Okay, so get a little closer. I don't want to do the just warp to button here because that stops it a minute before the burn's ready to go. And I don't trust this thing to be able to turn around in only a minute, like to orient itself to the node in a minute. So I'm going to stop a few minutes early. Alright. Okay, orient you. What's nice about having this stage is all the thrust that we got. We got a 1.14 thrust to weight ratio. We will not have that once we are on all these nerve engines. But what it does is it means that this burn is only 1 minute and 16 seconds long, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, persistent rotation is a nice mod, but I have had funny bugs happening with persistent rotation, so I'm a little bit gun shy about that one. Okay, I want to watch this from Eve. Yeah, so that's going to be my target trajectory there. Tell you that maneuver tool, this guy here, is great when it works. Not so great when it doesn't work. Oh, is there an alarm up here? There is. Let's just delete that. I don't need no alarms. Okay. Okay, we are on. We are oriented the right way. Just got to get ready to do the burn. So we're coming for you, Wafflebird, one way or another. Okay, so 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. There we go. This burn, I'm seeing they start the burn 35, 36 seconds. The start burn in timer here has that all factored in to start the burn so that the burn is on either side of this node time. So you'll see it about halfway through the burn, this time here will get to 0. The node time it will be at to 0. So the start burn in already takes into account to do all that. You don't have to do the math. Not doing the math live is always a good idea. F5? I F5'd before, Ahmed. Before I did all the time warping, I'll F5. But I'll F5 once this burn is complete. Alright, we're over halfway through the burn. That is great. We shouldn't... Yeah, we're not going to be staging. We're still going to have this big thing. That's cool. That's a lot of rocket coming for you, Wafflebird. I shouldn't make fun. I shouldn't poke at Wafflebird. Wafflebird is, after all, one of my patrons. So, I love you, Wafflebird. I really do. Okay, now slow down. Getting close to the end here. Boop. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, let's do ourselves, set up a correction burn. It's always around the halfway point here. And try and see... Oh, gotta focus. Oh, I am focused on Eve. So the first thing I can see right away is I need to bring this southwards. It's gonna need to be bigger than that. Okay, why? Oh, that is my actual... Okay, what's going on here? Let's zero that out again. Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, I'm missing my encounter again. Why is it... Why? Okay, this is still saying... Maneuver. Maneuver. Okay, this is at a 0. Okay, don't go so high. So 10, 10, 10, or no, that's just 1. 5 meter per second intervals. Come on. As soon as I push something, I'm losing my encounter. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, I gotta come northwards. There we go. I can see it here. Silly pants. Why does that feel like I need to come... Oh, because that's... Oh my gosh, I'm looking completely at the wrong... Okay. This is why I hate doing this live. 0, 0. Back on the maneuver. Just seems like I just lose this encounter when I do anything. Like I don't see it here no more. The encounter's over here. Let's look at it from over here. That's coming in 187 days. That is in 189 days. Just trying to get it so I can see the other... Maybe the patch conics is too high? I don't know. I've never had this happen before. Let's turn down the patch conics a little bit. Your maneuver is after the intercept. Oh, that would make a difference, wouldn't it? I did the maneuver here. Oh my, no wonder it's not making any difference. So we're going this way. Oh my God. Okay, how about this guy? Oh dear, oh dear. There we go. That's what I'm used to seeing. Yeah, so I had the maneuver on the wrong side of the encounter with Eve. I was getting very confused. Okay, so here you can see we are getting ourselves a very intense encounter with Eve that we will most certainly have to correct for. Now, one thing I probably should, let's see. So, and you can see there our periapsis is coming downwards, our resulting periapsis after. Clearly, though, I need to be not hitting. So let's get it out of Eve's surface. Oh, I just did that. Okay, let's bring it back in again. I gotta watch this. You can't be in the atmosphere either. Okay, now what does that do? Does that have my... See, that's brought down my periapsis, right? Below, well below Eve's orbit, getting close to Moho's orbit. I always knew that a single encounter wasn't going to cut it. Now, one thing I do have to think about is I want this... I mean, ultimately, my target is Wafflebird there. Ooh. What is my relative inclination with Wafflebird if I set him as a target? Show, there we are. Let's see if I can bring that inclination down just with the timing of the maneuver. I may or may not. That is bringing it down. I want that relative inclination to be as low as I can because the capture will be the cheapest the closer that is to 0. So boop, 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 boop. Got 0.4, 0.3, 0.4. That might be as low as it gets, but that's pretty darn good. I can't complain about that. So the maneuver should be around here. How is this looking coming around Eve now? Oh, I can come in a little closer. Oh, show. Turn that down a lot. Closer I get, what is it, 90 kilometers? Eve's atmosphere, so be aware of that. Okay, 0.3 relative inclination with Wafflebird's orbit. With my periapsis not far from Wafflebird itself. So I'm thinking for now, let's see if I can get a little, I think a little close, because what I'm thinking of doing, see, like this is a 78 meter per second burn. I still have over 13 kilometers. Is if I do a burn right here at periapsis, so a second burn. This is what I'm thinking. And this burn should be prograde, I think. That is a way of me bringing that periapsis down even further. Also, it's messing up, I can see my inclination though. Now that's turning into a huge burn. Might need to do multiple passes. Get back to the first maneuver. Yeah. You know what? Let's forget about this for now. We'll do the burn. And let's just bring it in a little closer. Is this still got... No, it doesn't. Oh, that's because I changed the timing. That's right. We'll do this burn and we'll figure things out. We're going to have to figure things out as we go. Because I have no plan. No plan whatsoever. But the lower I can bring this relative inclination with Wafflebird... And I can bring this in closer with Eve. Let's say 117. That's pretty good. That gets me into a nice lower orbit. Maybe from here I can just do the rendezvous with Wafflebird just without worrying about Eve again. But I'm going to do that burn. So there we go. Done, 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 and doneer. Let's use the alarm clock. Because I trust the Kerbal alarm clock more than the game's alarm clock. We'll add an alarm for this maneuver. Give me 10 minutes warning. But let's get out there. Okay. Well, there we go. Do my solar panels have pretty good exposure? I believe they do. Yep. F5. Okay, let's go. Okay, so this burn's coming up in 100 days, about. But just maybe this one assist from Eve is assisting me enough, saving me enough Delta V that I can not have to worry about doing any more shenanigans. Doing it more straight up from here on in. Eve is a handy, handy planet. Okay, so we are now, like, way out. Where is us? There we are, right there. Yep, that's my maneuver. Okay, and this is very slowly turning. You can see how slow this goes. Now, I might... Still on these engines. This is only a 4-second burn. What I might just do... Let's see. What do I get if I just start shutting down engines? So if I shut down engines, obviously... Opposite engines. So now my... the burn... Oh, still just 4... How's it still 4 seconds after I shut down a couple of engines? Okay, let's shut down this engine. Shut down that engine. So now 4 of the engines are off. My TWR is still the same in the length of the... How is that possible? Wow, okay. This TWR cannot be right. So I just turned off. Just want to make sure. Yep, that engine's off, that engine's off, that engine's off. So 4 of the 5 engines are off. I don't know. Let's turn... Oh, the gimbal limit's down too. Good. Well, we'll make her work. Okay, so... This is not a very time-critical burn by any stretch of the imagination, so we can just kind of do it. So let's look at this from Eve's perspective again. So I want to bring my trajectory from way up here to here. So let's see what happens if I just start burning. Hey, here it comes. We'll just take our time. No rush. So we should be on only one engine here, right? Yep. I have a decoupler in my lowest stage. Yeah, I'll explain that in a second. You mean this decoupler, John? That should be there. Unless there's a stage lower than that. No. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna watch this right now. Keep an eye on my Eve periapsis. Is it just me, or does it feel like... Well, hopefully we'll get it. Oh yeah, here it comes. It's coming. It's coming around the way it's supposed to. Hopefully coming back out of Eve's surface. I'm noticing that too, but that's easy to fix. Okay. What's that? 110, pretty much. I think that's fine. I think that's 20 kilometers above Eve's atmosphere. Yeah, this decoupler here is right there. See that? So when this decoupler goes, all of these nerve engines, including the ones at the top, should go. So that is correct. Okay, so what does that give me for a trajectory now? So that gets me into this purple trajectory that we see here. Now what I'm curious about is, do I have another... What's that? Oh, of course, that's my SOI leaving. That's my even counter coming up. But what I want is, can I, if I add a maneuver here, I'm wondering how much this is going to cost me. So no more shenanigans. So just a straight up now, reduce that periapsis. So I got a lot of fuel. I don't have to get stupid about this. So now to reduce that periapsis down to Wafflebird's orbit, like that. We'll do an inclination change too. That is, I got to start writing these numbers down. That is 2,063. Excuse me while I get myself a marker and write that down. 2,670, we'll call it, meters per second. And then to get the rendezvous with Wafflebird would be the same as what it would cost for this capture, which is it'll be a couple of big burns here. Again, this is just to roughly plan a budget. So about there, and that second maneuver is 5,490. Let's call it that. 5,490. And then to get back to Kerbin, actually that I know is 6,310. Because I'd worked that out ahead of time. So do those three, do I have enough? I have 13,000 and something. I got enough, don't I? Oh, maybe not. Ooh, I'm a little shy. I'm a little shy. So let me just check. I'm going to get a calculator, but I think I'm a little shy. 2,670 for that first burn. 5,490 for that second burn to do the rendezvous. 6,310 to get back to Kerbin. That's what I worked out a long time ago. And that's coming out to 14,470. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to have to bring this down further one way or another. One way or another, we got to bring this down further. So let's... delete those maneuvers. So one option is to finagle another passive Eve, but I think the better option is to put a maneuver right here at periapsis. Yeah, I could use Eve. That's the other option, is to use Eve for a second, like to finagle a second Eve encounter. And that's what I'll do if this option I'm looking at here doesn't work. Because another option is to just add to the burn here. That should bring down the periapsis. It does. but I'm not convinced it's going to be very useful. Because if you do a burn at your closest approach to Eve, you are taking advantage of the Oberth effect. So, wow, I'm getting very close to an encounter there. And this might, you know, you're taking advantage of Eve's, but oh my gosh, that's I'm like 5,000. Okay, forget it. All right, that is not the way to do it. Okay, forget it. So we're gonna go by Eve, and then we're gonna finagle another encounter of Eve. That is what we're going to do. So F5, we have, I'm going to again use the game's alarm clock because I don't trust. We have our encounter coming up in 74 days. Let's give me like 30 minutes of warning on that. So this is going to be just, whoops. Oh, I'm pushing. This is just going to be a... just gonna go right by Eve without doing anything. And then we're gonna have to work out another Eve encounter to get our periapsis even lower. We could also use Eve on our way back. That is another option. On our way back to Kerbin, we can save some fun, okay, there's my alarm. And we should be starting to see Eve. Ooh, I should also... Shoot, I'm lucky I didn't run out of electric charge. I paid no attention to where my solar panels are. Luckily, they're in a decent spot. Okay, so we are now in Eve's SOI. We should be seeing... Oh, I think I see Eve. No, that's Moho. Where's Eve coming at us from? So if we look at the sun and look to the right of the sun, we should see Eve. Somewhere around here. There it is. Though I'm just reorienting for the solar panels. I should have done that before I did all that time warping, but I got lucky. You think you're gonna... We might have to slingshot our way back to Kerbin too. To be honest, that might not be so bad. That might be a good plan too. But I think I'm gonna finagle another encounter with Eve. I'm gonna just put this... Oh, was I changing the gimbal limit all that time? I was. That's why my TWR wasn't changing. I was changing the gimbal limit, not the thrust limit. What a spectacular doughhead I was. Oh my gosh. I just noticed that I was doing that. Let's activate some more engines then. Activate that engine. Activate that engine. And still says the TW. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, solar panel exposure. Tiny little solar panels. There, I'm sure that's good enough. Alright, Eve, we're coming for you. Always quick save before time warping. We're going to get a little help. We're going to come very close. Vroom. Got a little bit of a communication outage there as we flipped around the backside. But thank you for the boost, Steve. And we are now back out of Eve's SOI. And we are now in this orbit. So now what we need to do is finagle another Eve encounter. So we're going to select... Here, actually, let's just time warp away from Eve a little bit so I can... we go. So I can set you as a target once again. So the way to do this one is you want to adjust the period of, I mean, you can keep going round and round till it finally happens, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is add a maneuver here, and you can see that on our next pass, we're going to be that far apart. On our pass after that, we're going to be that far apart. And then I can pop ahead in orbit again. And we're, that one's pretty close. So in a few orbits, we are going to be, reasonably close to each other. That's going to be 1 year, 313 days away. That's fine. But then what I'm going to do is at this apoapsis, or right maybe at the AN, we're going to just very subtly tweak. See which way makes the, see? So we're making this change on our current orbit that changes our period just a little bit so that a few orbits after that, boink, we get ourselves an even counter. So we will again fine-tune this encounter in a little bit, but right now, all I want is for this to be as close to Eve as it can be. Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, so that's coming up in a year, 330 days, the better part of 2 years. This burn is only 100 meters per second. Okay, so F5 again. Again, alarm clock. Add the alarm. Give me a good 10 minutes warning so I have time to come around. That burn's coming up in 170 days, and we'll watch it from here this time. Center our view on the sun. And I'm hoping people can get what's going on here. So we're going to go around one more time. Let's get rolling. We're going to go around one more time, and we're going to perform a burn right here. And that's just changing our current orbit just a little bit. But it just affects our period just enough so that a few orbits after that, we're going to be getting our second even counter. And this maneuver here is just a dummy maneuver that is just on the right orbit for getting this encounter. I'm hoping that makes sense. Okay, so we should be stopping. Yep. All right, and there is my alarm, and put it onto our maneuver node. Still got a little over 4 years before my contract expires. If I get to a point that this contract expiring time comes up, then what I'm going to just do is I think I've done dumb things with these thrust limiters. I think I'm very confusing myself, but whatever. Anyway, I'll stop this mission entirely, and I don't want any contracts to expire. I'm always, yeah. Penguin God's asking, we come in from the planet's prograde to remove energy from our orbit, right? I think. It actually kind of depends from which side of the planet, whether you're coming from inside that planet's orbit or outside that planet's orbit. It flips, and honestly, at the right now, I think if you're coming in from inside the planet orbit, you want to go around the planet prograde, but it's the other way around if you're coming from outside the planet orbits like we are right now. And I'm honestly not even looking. I'm just simply looking at, you know, what is my resulting trajectory. If all of a sudden your trajectory is going high, than your current trajectory, then you're clearly on the wrong side. So rather than trying to puzzle that all out, just set up a maneuver node, and, you know, I think that's sort of more a way to do it. Just gonna, again, adjust this for solar panels. Okay. This time we'll just warp to here. Okay. Getting a lot of traction out of this booster, I tells ya. I tells ya. Get a little closer. Okay. And it says it'll take 6 seconds. I guess that feels about right. So I got a few engines going now. I love having multiple engines and just shutting some off and turning some on in order to adjust your thrust rather than fiddling with the thrust limiter. Okay, so I'm just going to pay attention to maneuver, get that right down to 0 if I can. Okay. So, I still have this maneuver, which is a 0, and it's showing me I got this encounter coming up in 1 year, 159 days. So what I'm going to do is move this maneuver around. Actually, no, I need to delete it. I do. Put it around to here. And we're going to now use this as our mid-course correction to get our Wafflebird thingy. So the first thing, focus view, how is... Oh, I got to move this forward in time. My head orbits. This is several orbits in the future. There we are. Alright, so right now, I'm kind of hitting Eve here, aren't I? Oh, no, I'm not. Okay. What is... I'm going to need to up my patch count... Patch count limit again. Put that back up to 6. Zoom. Oh, it's way out here. I was looking completely in the wrong direction. So now I can see I'm on the wrong side of the planet to get the boost. So what I need to do is probably a little retrograde. Whoa, that changed a lot. Nope. Yeah. Okay, how's that doing now? No, that's still... Okay, that's getting further away from Eve. That's hitting Eve. There we go. Now I'm getting the kind of action. But right now, I'm just still... Ah! Why? Why? I'll watch what I'm going to do in here. Okay, this orbit should flip. Maybe I need to do a little bit of a normal correction. Whoops, that was a little too much of a normal correction. Okay, how's that doing? Well, I'm getting a subsequent Eve encounter. That's not what I care about. It's still not bringing it down. Uh-oh. Flip it around again. That's most certainly bringing it up. That's not good. See, that's just getting close. Oh my god, why is... okay, I'm a little bit confused on this one as to why Seems like no matter what side of Eve I'm on, I'm getting a non-boost. See, that's just coming closer. You know what? You know what? Maybe it's confused because I'm so far into the future. So what I'll do, let's do a maneuver here. And let's pump that again until I see that encounter. There we go. And let's actually get to this. That might be the way to do that. So maybe it's just confused because we are so far into the future that it's not. I'm hoping that's it anyway.